Hey everyone, and welcome to Beyond Fit Life's monthly online coaching call. I'm so excited to have everybody on. We have 183 ladies registered for tonight's call. So it is going to be so much fun. I see Melissa, Meredith, Teresa, Tracy, Mary Kate, Nicole. Everybody's jumping on in. So hey Kelly, hey Sarah. Hey, Selena. So I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to get in and to find the chat feature. So when you get in to the call, I want you to type hey in the chat box so that we know you're here. You can chat with me as well as your fellow Beyond Fit Life sisters who are also on the call. And you can use this feature throughout the chat tonight. Hey, Melissa, to ask questions and really just to talk. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Amy. So gosh, where should I even start? I hear little footsteps coming in. I'm so excited, and I wanted to thank you first for just being here and dedicating this time to your growth and to education and just to learning about this topic of, you know, kind of what we mean when we do fitness better. Hey, Megan. Hey, Justine. So the boys are here. Do you want to say hey?
Hey,
Do you want to? So Jackson's preschool teacher, Miss Cindy, is joining us tonight. And what did you want to say?
Letitia.
Yeah, can you say hi?
Hi.
So they all say hi. Patrick's going to take the boys up for some daddy duty, and this is going to be our time to talk about how to do fitness better. And specifically tonight, we're going to talk about how to crush some calories. So I'm really passionate about tonight's workshop because I've seen so many women struggle with having damaged metabolisms and with having bodies that are not burning calories as they should. So I don't know, maybe you can relate to this, but a lot of the women that I've worked with and that I talk to feel like they're spinning their wheels. They feel like they're working hard, but they're getting nowhere. And to tell you the truth, I've been there as well. And I can relate to that frustration. A lot of times, sometimes, you know, we find ourselves even sabotaging our own efforts at getting our bodies to burn calories efficiently. So we'll talk all about that tonight, but I just wanted you to know first and foremost that I'm really excited to support you and to help you learn how to do fitness better, how to shape up, how to fight fat fast, try to say that 3 times fast, and how to burn more fat and calories than ever before. This topic is so important because much of what you hear from the fitness industry is wrong. And instead of helping, I feel like it actually ends up doing more harm than good. So I'm really passionate, and I feel like it's time for us all to come together and teach women a better way. We're calling this month in the Beyond Fit Life Club our Total Body Calorie Burner, or Calorie Crush. And that is what's happening already in March. I've been seeing all of these check-ins about just being crazy sore, and the workouts are crazy. And we'll talk a little bit more about why we do what we do and how it works. I personally have been sore, but I'm loving it. It's good, right? It hurts so good. So tonight, here's what we're going to talk about, and then we'll jump in. I have 3 shape up shortcuts that we're going to talk about this evening, as well as 5 tricks to fight fat fast. Again, I got to slow down when I'm saying that one. And we'll also talk about how you can burn more fat and more calories than ever before. So, I've seen a bunch more ladies come in. Hey, so glad that you're here. Since we're going to be spending some time together this evening, I thought I'd share just a little bit about who I am and why I'm so excited to help you burn more fat and calories than ever before. I know lots of you know me, and you have been Beyond Fit veterans, and you've been attending these monthly calls for a while. In fact, some of you guys on here that I see have been on our monthly calls for like years, which is pretty cool. But we have some new ladies too. So Miss Cindy, I'm so excited that you're on. That made Jackson's night to know that you were here. And I see lots of new faces as well. So for those of you who are new and who have no idea about who I am or why you're even listening to me, I currently am living a healthy, happy, and balanced life. I have a healthy metabolism, and I'm actually in the best shape of my life, even after having 2 kids. I have 2 little boys who are 2 and 4. And I need lots of energy to keep up with them. But it wasn't always this way. There was a time when I was super frustrated. I was spending lots of energy just trying to figure out this diet and exercise thing. And I actually was doing lots of damage to my metabolism over quite a few years, from crash diets to hours at the gym. I was following what I thought all the quote unquote rules were. And I had tried just about every diet plan ever written. Hey, Roseanne. Hey, so glad you're on. And I have a degree in exercise physiology. So I knew, and I knew the science behind the fat loss. I knew the science. I had done the research. Like, that was my degree. That's what I studied. But I was so frustrated because I felt like personally, I just couldn't get the tight, toned, and like lean look that I wanted. And it was exhausting. Now, I will tell you, you can see up on the screen, this was before I had the boys. I was never heavy or overweight, but I was spinning my wheels, trying to build muscle, trying to get tone, trying to get definition, and just trying to take my fat loss to the next level. So no matter where you are on the scale, this is for you. If you can relate to feeling frustrated, if you can relate to feeling like you just don't even know what to do, like you feel like you're doing all the right things, but it's not working. I've told many of you this before, but I finally reached my boiling point, and I decided that things just had to change when my husband, Patrick, was deployed to Afghanistan. We didn't have kids yet at that point, so I had some extra time on my hands, and I was determined to be in the best shape of my life. And it's crazy to think about it now, looking back at that time, but at that time, I was working so hard. I was actually sabotaging my own fat loss efforts without even knowing it, though. And thinking of it now, I'm like, oh, this is why I have Beyond Fit, because I want to teach women how not to make those same mistakes that I made. I was working so hard to get my body to burn calories, but the things that I was doing was actually keeping me from getting results and was slowing down my metabolism and slowing down my body's ability to burn fat and calories. So I finally learned how to do fitness better, and I implemented some of the strategies that we're going to talk about tonight. So you'll see what we're going to cover on the screen. And when I implemented those, I really saw changes in my physique that I just never dreamed possible. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this webinar with you. And the stuff that we talk about in Beyond Fit, the way that we do fitness better, it really does work. So lots of the ladies on the call have been part of Beyond Fit for long time, and they have seen results as well as myself personally. So I can tell you that it does work, and you can shape up, you can fight fat fast, and you can burn more fat and calories than ever before. There's no lost causes, okay? So if you're excited, type woohoo in the chat. Let me know that you are ready to learn, and we will dig on into this education tonight. So, oh, and one more thing before we get started, I'm going to share everything that I possibly can with you together in our time for the next hour. But there's still so much more on these topics. So I promise, if you're joining us and you're like, what? You didn't answer this or this or this, or what about this and this and this? I will show you a way that you can get some more support. So we will not leave anybody hanging. All right, so we've got lots of woohoos coming in. Miss Cindy, Mary Kate, Megan, Alexis. Okay, hey Tracy, hey Jody. I'm glad to see you on. Hey, Sarah. Okay, Justine is always ready to learn. So let's start with total body training. And this is the first shape up shortcut that we're going to talk about tonight. And this really is, when it comes to shortcuts, this is it. Like, I don't want you to get off the call, but you could listen to this and then bolt and still make amazing progress, because total body training is really, truly where it's at. So if you've hit a plateau, if you're struggling to lose those last 5 pounds, if you're ready to take your physique to the next level, wherever you're at on that spectrum, total body training, it really could be the secret that you're missing. Total body training is absolutely the #1 way to burn more fat and to burn more calories than ever before. So in the old school world of bodybuilding, many trainers recommended breaking up workouts based on muscle groups. And so you'll still find, when you work with a lot of sort of the old school trainers, or, you know, if you're flipping through a fitness magazine, you might find workouts broken up by muscle groups. So for example, you'd see an arm workout, a shoulder workout, a leg workout. It's not uncommon to see these training, what they call splits, AKA plans, that contain, you know, 6 or even 7 days of weight training workouts that last upwards of an hour per session. Excuse me. Uh-oh. I hope I don't sneeze all night. Oh, but the truth is that despite our best intentions and you know, you can be super committed, but despite your best intentions and your best commitments, personally, spending 6 or more hours at the gym each week for me isn't possible. In addition to everything else that we as busy women have on our plates, I mean, that feels a little overwhelming. Thank you for the bless you. Don't you agree? I mean, who has that much time on their hands? Like an hour or more at the gym every day of the week? I mean, we just don't have time. And you know what? That's okay. There was a time in my life where I thought I had to be hardcore, and I thought I had to spend an hour or more at the gym. And you know what? I have learned that balance is good. A middle ground is great. And if there's a better way, if there's a training plan that can get me more results in less time, I am all for it. Aren't you? The secret to do this, to get more results in less time, is the total body workouts. So what is a total body workout? Let's talk about that first. A total body workout is like the workouts that we do in the Beyond Fit Life Club, or Roseanne is in the Beyond Fit Boot Camp. It's a workout that relies on complex multi-joint movements that engages more muscle groups at once. It also works your core basically the entire workout. So whether your goal is building strength or shedding pounds or becoming a more well-rounded athlete, when you increase the complexity of your movements, it results in greater neuromuscular and cardiovascular challenge, in addition to maximizing fat burning and muscle building. So you get more of a workout in less time. And that's why I think that total body workouts are a shortcut that a lot of women are missing when it comes to shaping up. So I was thinking through this. Hey, Sam. Oh, you just finished your workout. Awesome. How are you feeling? It was a killer one, huh? So I want to talk about 3 reasons when it comes to your training, 3 reasons why total body workouts and what we talk about in Beyond Fit Life, why it works. So the first shape up shortcut, gosh, why did I do this to myself? We've got Fight Fat Fast, we've got shape up shortcut. I need to work on my pronunciation. But the first shortcut is you have to get serious about your weight training. So when you're looking at your workouts, I want them to be total body, and you have to use weights. In the physique world, weight training, it's a foregone conclusion. I mean, it's just, that's what everybody assumes. But in the everyday world of non-athletes or people who are just looking at fitness kind of as a weight loss or diet type of thing, they don't always consider the importance of lifting weights. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just going to give you some examples for, Susie Soccer Mom or businesswoman Betsy. A lot of times I'll hear from them, it doesn't make sense. Lifting weights to lose weight, like that doesn't even compute. But weight training is so important for metabolic health and for better body composition. So it doesn't matter what your age. I saw we had Jane on. Jane's a grandma of 14. Do you have 14 grandkids, Jane? I know we have a couple of grandmamas who are fit grandmas on here. My mom does weight training. I mean, this is like, there's any age, okay? 16 grandkids. Yeah, you're amazing. So where was I? So it doesn't matter what your age. You have to lift weights for your metabolic health and for better body composition, okay? So if you're forced to choose one or the other, cardio or weights, it should be a no-brainer. Weight training should always be your priority. And if you want to crush more calories and you want to burn fat fast, you have to weight train. If you're not weight training yet, that's your starting point, okay? There's nothing else to discuss until you get this part as a habit and a routine for yourself. You have to start pumping iron. You have to build muscle, and you have to do your weight training workouts regularly. So this is why our Beyond Fit Life workouts always include a focus on total body weight training. It really is the key to shaping up, to burning fat and calories, and to giving you a tight, toned, and lean look, okay? So with that said, if you're already consistent with your weight training workouts, which I'm sure that most of you are, because I know most of y'all are Beyond Fit Life members in some capacity. So you're coming to boot camp. Roseanne, you kill it at boot camp, by the way. I have heard you are intense, and you're doing your Beyond Fit Life workouts, and so you're good, okay? If you're consistent with your weight training, but you aren't getting where you want to go, I would just encourage you to make sure you're challenging yourself. And that's something that we've been talking about in the online Facebook group in the last few weeks with our February workouts and now transitioning to our new March workouts. You have to challenge yourself. So in order to prevent plateaus, you really have to focus on working hard and pushing yourself. There are many ways you can challenge yourself through your workout program. And I specifically designed our Beyond Fit Life workouts so that it takes the thinking out of it. Like, I just want to get down there. It's 5 a.m. I'm tired. The boys have been climbing in my bed all night. I just want to get down there and get it done. So with Beyond Fit Life workouts, it's easy to challenge yourself in one of two ways. This could be adding weight to the exercises that you're performing, or it could be increasing the total number of reps that you're completing of the circuit. Okay, so simply completing more rounds of a particular circuit would work as challenging yourself. Decreased rest time and increased working time, that's going to help you get through more of the circuit. That's a great way to add challenge to your workout. It's hard to do this, to add this type of challenge with traditional weightlifting program splits or the stuff you flip through in like the fitness magazines, because typically they require all the exercises to be done with one muscle group per day. And when you do that, there's only so many times you can do a bicep move before you have to take a break, right, with your bicep. But Beyond Fit workouts, you're doing your bicep, and then you're doing a press, and then you're doing lunges. So you can push harder and you can move more quickly through the workout. It's really easy to create challenging workouts that hit your entire body and that help you prevent plateaus. So I can tell you guys, I have not had a gym membership. I have not gone to a gym since Jackson was born. So he's 4. So you can get results. You can challenge yourself at home with a set of dumbbells, a couple of sets of dumbbells. You do not need fancy equipment. It doesn't need to be, Nicole said she's so sore. Yeah, I've been sore too. It's good. It doesn't need to be fancy, okay? It can be done. And that leads to shape up shortcut number 2, which says you have to take advantage of the fat burning hormones. So I do get a little bit nerdy, I suppose, when we talk about hormones. In the fitness industry, it's pretty common to talk about exercise, and it's pretty common to talk about nutrition, but it's not as common to talk about hormones. Because of my degree in exercise science, I love the science of the way that the Lord designed our bodies. Like, that just really interests me. We are so cool. Like, our created bodies are amazing. And part of our body includes messengers, these little messengers that we call hormones. And they tell your body to burn fat or to store fat. So we want to take advantage of this. We can't just ignore this big component of our fitness and of our health. So I love total body training because with this type of training, you'll actually boost your fat burning hormones. You'll boost these messengers that tell your body to burn fat. Now I'm going to try not to get too geeky on you, but let me tell you about one study that I was reading that showed that total body weight training workouts resulted in increased fat burning hormone production, and that the higher levels of fat burning and muscle building hormones that these people had in their body, the faster they were able to get to their goal. So they looked at a big group of women, and they say, they each wanted to lose 5 pounds. And then they measured the hormones that they had going in through their bloodstream, the muscle building and the fat burning hormones. And they found, big surprise, right, that if you had more muscle building and fat burning hormones in your bloodstream, you were going to get to your goal of losing that weight faster. So when it comes to increasing muscle building and fat burning hormones through your workouts, you have to have exercises that are going to utilize full body movements and that are going to work as many muscle fibers as possible, because each muscle fiber is going to release these hormones. So you want to release the greatest amount of these hormones that you can. And you do that by utilizing the total body workouts. So you can kind of think of crushing calories and burning fat like a puzzle. Most women have the nutrition and they have the exercise pieces down, or they're getting them down. But there is a third and often missing piece, like I said. And when you finally get to this piece of the puzzle, the hormones, you'll bust through plateaus and you'll be crushing fat and calories even while you rest. We have a whole section, and I'm going to save some time at the end of the call to just show you a couple of places in the members portal that you could read up on for this month. But we have a section in the members portal that talks about things to do to balance these hormones and to adjust these hormones in your body so that you can turn your body into a lean, mean, fat fighting machine. Okay, so you can get there, and of course, I'm here to help in any way that I can. So let's talk about shortcut number 3, and then we can take some questions, and then we'll move on and talk about nutrition. And the nutrition section has 5 tricks to fight fat fast. So I'm gonna have to speed up my chat so we can get through all this. So shape up shortcut number 3 is to balance stress with recovery. Now let's just take a pause in the chat. Who on this call has experienced stress, some type of stress in your life in the last week? Type me in the chat if you have experienced some type of stress in your life, right? Yes, me. So to be honest, the only people who don't have stress in their lives are probably dead people. I mean, there's some type of stress that's going on. Even training is a physical form of stress. And it's a good form of stress if you recover from it. And that's the key point, really, when it comes to stress. You have to balance each period of stress with a period of recovery. Otherwise, you're going to be in dire straits. So if you add stress on top of an already slow metabolism, it's like an amplifier, and it just multiplies the usual symptoms, and the impact of stress is just magnified. The most well-known kind of hormone that's associated with stress is cortisol. And we talk about that a lot in the Beyond Fit Life Club. But cortisol is a stress hormone that breaks down muscle tissue, and it's actually linked to an increase in belly fat storage. So that's not something we want. We want to balance that cortisol if we can. Stress without adequate recovery has been linked to suppressed thermogenesis, which is your fat burning, your levels of fat burning. It's also been linked to leptin resistance, to insulin resistance, to hyperinsulin symptoms in diabetics. It's been linked to increased visceral fat deposits. So that's the fat that lies outside of the muscle tissue just underneath the skin. And it's been linked to defects in energy partitioning, which is really just a way to say your body doesn't burn calories. Calories are a source of energy for your body. It doesn't burn them efficiently. So we have to look at ways to minimize stress. And like I said, training is a form of physical stress. And I love total body weight training because with this type of training, you can recover better. Studies show that total body workouts are linked to improved muscle recovery rates. And like we were saying, Nicole jumped in and said she was so sore. Yeah, these workouts are going to make you sore. When you're challenging yourself, you're going to be sore. And so we need to look at ways that we can recover. And one way to do that is by doing this type of workout. You give yourself time to recover because you give yourself off days. So back-to-back workouts without a day to rest and to recover, it leads to fatigue. It leads to increased cortisol. And I mean, just from a personal perspective, I can tell you it leads to burnout. Like, I don't want to have to be at the gym for an hour every single day for the next 30 years of my life. Like, you get burned out. So whenever you lift a weight, stress is placed on your central nervous system, your CNS. And so when you're stimulating your CNS day after day after day, eventually it becomes fatigued. And the overall amount of weight that you're able to lift is going to decrease. The only way to really prevent this is from giving your CNS a complete break from training. And it works best if your program includes total body workouts so that you can get those intense workouts, you can get those killer workouts, and you can get the scheduled rest days. So with total body workout plans like this, you give your body time to recover between your training sessions. And this means more fat burning, more muscle building, and less muscle soreness or likelihood of injury. So yeah, Melanie, you guys know, you probably saw in the Beyond Fit Life group, she's recovering from a stroke and she's like amazing. Melanie, I am so proud of you. She's back at it with her nutrition. She's back at it with her workouts. And yeah, you're doing great. Yes. So Sam said when she was working out 6 days a week, she found she had that stubborn belly fat. And it's because of cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. And when you're stressing your body with, those long workouts and no rest days, your cortisol levels are going to be high over time, and it's going to contribute to that. So just a bonus tip on the topic of recovery, make sure you're getting adequate sleep. And I say this after a night of like terrible sleep because both the boys were climbing in and out of our bed, and you guys know how it is. They were up at like 4:30 and they couldn't fall back to sleep. And so anyways, I'm speaking to myself with this as well. Okay. It's not me on a high pedestal saying, I'm so great. Let me tell you, I'm saying we all need this and I'm with you on it, okay? In the past several years, the amount of information that's been coming out of research centers about the association between sleep and fat loss is staggering, okay? short sleep and sleep deprivation, it messes with your hunger hormones. It affects hormones that regulate your metabolism. One study that really got my attention was when the scientists at the University of Chicago compared 5.5 hours per night to 8 hours per night. And the short sleepers lost more of their weight as lean body mass, aka their body was burning muscle to try and survive, at the same calorie deficit as those who were sleeping 8 hours per night and their body was burning fat. So do not overlook the importance of, if you can get it, 7 or 8 hours of quality sleep per night. Try your best to get that if you can, at least a couple of times per week. I know it's so hard as busy moms, but it really is important for better body composition and for metabolic health. So with these last 3 points, the overtraining and the continuous stress without recovery and the sleep deprivation, all at the same time, it can really do damage to your body. So we need to treat our bodies with care. It's not something we just like beat into the ground and force it to respond. If you're stuck at a plateau, think about the messages, the hormonal signals that are running through your body, and think about ways that, you can lovingly bring your body back to a place of health where it is burning fat and burning calories, and that you're building your metabolism in the right way. Okay, so are we good with that? So total body training is key. You've got those shape up shortcuts of balancing stress with recovery, taking advantage of the fat burning hormones, and getting serious about weight training. So if you will commit to getting serious about weight training, taking advantage of fat burning hormones, and sometime this month, trying to think of ways that you can balance stress with recovery, I want you to type "I'm in" the chat. Somebody. Tell me you're in. Okay, yes, I'm in. So I'm gonna be cheering for you. I'm gonna be checking in with you, asking you how you're doing. I want this to be our goal for March. Jane is in, and I will just tell you, like I said, I'm with you. So I'm working on these goals. I'm preaching to myself, okay? Mary Kate's in, Justine's in, Courtney's in. Yes, Jolene is in. We are in. Megan's in. Natalie's in. We're in. Okay, so you guys keep me accountable too. And when you hear that I'm like tempted to stay up late watching Netflix instead of going to bed when the boys are in bed, you need to, like say, go to bed. Go to bed, please. It's important. Okay, so let's talk about nutrition. And we are going to talk about, oh, I missed that sleep slide. So there's the sleep slide if you guys are taking notes. Do y'all take notes? If it's helpful for you, we can post a download of these slides so that you can print them off in the members portal. If you would like to do that, you just let me know. I don't know, like, I'm old school. I like to take notes with like a paper and pen, but I know some people are like really tech savvy and cool like that. So maybe you don't take notes, but yes, you do. Okay. So, some of you do. Some of you are old school with me with the pen. I still have a paper planner. Everybody has the calendars on their phone and stuff, but I can't. I have to write it down. It's so, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about nutrition. We are going to talk about 5 tricks to fight fat fast now, okay? So 5 tricks to fight fat fast. I had to slow that down. Trick number 1 is to eat more food, and you'll see that up on the screen. We've talked about the training, and you've learned those 3 easy to implement shape up shortcuts. Like seriously, we talked about it. You said you're in. We can start with those today or tomorrow because we're going to go to bed tonight. But I want to give you a few nutrition tips as well, specifically 5 ways to tweak your nutrition in order to fight the fat fast. And you'll shape up with your training, absolutely. And then we'll look at our nutrition to fight the fat. And then don't leave yet, because after this, we'll talk about hormones and how to burn more fat and calories. So the tip number 1 is just to eat more food. You have to be in a caloric deficit for weight loss, but there are different ways to achieve a deficit. You can eat less, or you can exercise more, or you could do a little bit of both. Um, in addition, how specifically you eat less and exercise more, it makes all the difference. The smart way to really fight fat is to avoid crash diets and to pursue slower but steady fat loss with an eye on your body composition. So you want to focus on eating more protein and produce. Y'all know that's what we call the 2 Ps, right? Every meal you want to have the 2 Ps, protein and produce. And when you do this, you'll naturally be balancing your hunger and your energy and your cravings while encouraging your body to build muscle and to boost your metabolism. So when you add in resistance training to this type of healthy eating plan where you're focusing on actually eating more, fueling your body with protein, with produce, your calorie expenditure, your metabolism, it's going to go up. And that's how you can legitimately get lean while you're eating more food. So I have so many people that say, like, when we go out to eat, oh my goodness, like you eat so much. Like, yeah, I know lots of Beyond Fit Life ladies are like so proud posting their pictures of like their dinner. So like, look at all this food. And it's like, yes, when you learn to do fitness better, when you learn to eat the right types of food, you can eat more. And so it's pretty cool. The second tip is to eat less crap. Okay, so the long-term daily consumption of refined, artificial foods in large amounts, that's eventually going to take its toll on your health. And like Melanie said, who's recovering from a stroke, we have to take care of our bodies. I mean, it really does go beyond, whatever jean size you are, or looking good at the beach. Like, it's a stewardship issue. Taking care of your health. It's important. It matters. And how do you expect to take care of those people around you if you aren't taking care of your own self? So you got to eat less crap. When hormonal health declines, your body composition outcomes, they're terrible. They're worse than weight loss, and you risk metabolic damage. And you guys know when I say body composition, I'm talking about your fat to muscle. So we want to have a high muscle ratio. We want to have high muscle to low fat. We don't want to have high fat to low muscle, if that makes sense. When you have a lot of fat and not a lot of muscle on your body, it damages your metabolic health. And eating less crap is a way to build muscle and burn fat. When you eat crap, it's going to store on your body as fat, unfortunately. So most natural unprocessed foods, especially vegetables and lean protein, like we talked about the 2 Ps, they're lower in caloric density, and they lead to decreases in calorie intake without even trying. So you are eating less calorie dense foods compared to the standard American diet, which is, like bags of chips and Twinkies and whatever else. So for optimal body composition results, so for more muscle and less fat, and for metabolic and hormonal health, it's not just about calorie quantity, but it's also about calorie quality. It's not just about quantity, it's also about quality, okay? So don't focus on one to neglect the other. You have to eat more of the right things, which is the proteins and the produce, and eat less of the wrong things. Both of those things need to be in place. And also, I want you to be eating regularly. I really recommend that all of my ladies eat like physique athletes. So you guys know Patrick and I, and actually my brother Patrick as well, we have done a couple of fitness competitions. So the guys do bodybuilding and I do the female version. And in physique competitions, when you're training for that, it's not uncommon to eat like 5 or 6, even 7 sometimes small meals per day, because it really boosts your metabolism. And I'm not saying you have to tote Tupperwares around and eat 7 meals a day, but spreading your total daily calories into, maybe 4 feedings per day, if you can do that with your schedule, that really will help. You want to be sure to include a source of lean protein with every major meal. And whatever meal schedule you choose, consistency is important. So studies have shown that haphazard eating patterns are at least partially responsible for metabolic disarray. So things like decreased thermic effect of feeding, which is a geeky term that says your body doesn't burn as many calories when you eat as it could, dysregulation of blood sugar, insulin issues. So you kind of want to be regular with your meals. If you need a template or a guide, you can print the meal planning guide. It's blank, so you can fill it in with the meals you like, but it just gives you an idea of, like breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, so you can use that if you would like a guide. The fourth thing I wanted to talk about tonight, it gets a little more complicated, but I did, actually the fourth and fifth, I did want to mention these two advanced strategies of nutrition. So you guys know when I was training for the competition last spring, I used carb cycling and some diet breaks to get my leanness kind of stage ready. And the women that I work with in my nutrition coaching, we implement these strategies as well. So I thought I would just mention them tonight so that maybe it'll help you get some ideas for how you could take your nutrition to the next level in March. The first is carb cycling, and this is trick number 4. So the Beyond Fit Life Plan, it gives you optimal healthy calorie deficit with the right types of foods and lots of burning calories during the workouts. But periodically, you increase your calories when you're carb cycling to keep up your metabolism and to keep your appetite regulating hormones at a normal level. So you have hormones in your body that tell your body to be hungry or that it's full. And when you diet, you mess with these hunger hormones and your appetite is not regulated correctly. So your body could be full, but if you've messed with these hormones, it could be telling you that you're hungry. We don't want that, right? We're like, no, hunger hormones, please sit down. So you've got to use some advanced strategies when you get to that point so that you can balance those hormones. So instead of carb-phobic diets where like millions of people still follow these diets where they're like, I can't have any carbs, like I'm cutting out all carbs, which that actually suppresses hormones like your thyroid and your leptin hormones. Carb cycling with a carb refeed every 4 days or so, or doing a high-low plan, it's going to allow you to eat more carbs and still keep losing fat. So the benefits are physical, they're psychological, and the best part is it's a really easy plan to stick to. So carb cycling works, and if you're not sure where to start, I will save some time at the end of this to show you where to go in the members portal for some more info. Diet breaks is another idea that you could utilize, and this is trick number 5. I just mentioned this because you do want to avoid periods of a really aggressive caloric deficit. So if you have a lot of fat to lose and it's going to take more than 3 months to hit your long-term fat loss goals, you don't want to do it all in one stretch. You want to take a week at maintenance calories. If you've been in a really restricted dieting phase, raise your calories, do the carb cycling, or even just kind of take a break for a little bit. I know Christy's on and she went through a muscle building phase with her custom nutrition coaching. Jane is on. Jane, the fit grandma of 16 grandkids, who actually competed in a figure show, like fitness competition, bodybuilding show, and did amazing. We cycled her nutrition with the carb cycling, and she did a couple of diet breaks and increased her intake there. So it really works. It's counterintuitive to all of the stuff you read in fitness magazines and all that. Like, I had celery for lunch and 3 pieces of lettuce for dinner. And for breakfast, I'm doing lemon water, and there we go. But cycling fat loss phases with muscle building phases, doing high-low days, doing an occasional refeed day, That's not only going to ensure that you're consistent with your diet and that you are sane, but it will help your metabolism over the long-term period as well. So speaking of refeeds, and I saw Justine's comment there, do you guys want to know about refeeds? Are you interested in that? Okay, so I don't do like splurge days. I used to do that, and I found that it wasn't helping me because I didn't diet breaks would be more of like a refeed. So let's talk about that instead of, because splurge in my mind, I think of that as like eating a bunch of junk food. Is that, maybe I'm misinterpreting your question? I used to do like really strict diets, and then on Friday I'd be like, pizza, donut, cookies, ice cream, whatever. And that just messed me up. That wasn't very productive. Instead, I learned kind of how to do refeeds where there would be a day or a week, or every Saturday or whatever I set, where I would be eating more. And maybe I'd have, like a piece of pizza or whatever, but I wouldn't go crazy with the splurge, but I would increase my intake to impact my hormones. So we can move on to that. Let's talk about hormones. So hormones. They tell your body to burn more fat, and they tell your body to burn more calories, even while you're resting. So your hormones are always giving your body messages. So they're giving your body messages while you're sitting here listening to the call, taking notes on your fancy technology, whatever, or taking notes with a pen and paper. Your hormones are working even while you're here. They work while you sleep. They work all day long. So we've talked about your training. You've learned 3 easy to implement shape up shortcuts, and you're going to follow those. You guys said you were in, right? We talked about some real life nutrition tips to help you burn fat faster. And so now we're going to talk about hormones, and that's the 3rd piece of the puzzle. So the hormones, specifically tonight, I want to teach you about hunger hormones and about the hunger hormone leptin. And how with the right strategy, you can burn more fat and calories than ever before. It's so crazy how this works. So the fitness industry's norm of low-calorie dieting and excessive cardio, it's notorious for increasing hunger and cravings while ultimately causing a yo-yo of weight loss and regain. So I want to know, before we continue, who has ever caught in a yo-yo trap? So you yo-yo diet of weight loss and then regaining the weight back. Has anybody ever been there? Somebody tell me. Okay, yeah, so it's very common for women. You have terrible hunger, you have tons of cravings, you'll lose some weight for a little while, but it was very restrictive, and then kind of when you start life again, yeah, Sarah, yeah, Jody, all the time. Okay, so you regain it. There are many hormones at play, but today I want to focus on the hunger hormone leptin. And for more info on hormones and all the other things that you need to be considering, I will show you where to find that in the members portal. But today we're going to talk about leptin in our few remaining minutes. And I want you to think of leptin as your fuel gauge hormone, okay? So if you are taking notes, you can write leptin, fuel gauge hormone. Leptin is produced by your adipose tissue. So when you're trying to lose fat at an accelerated rate, it's really important that this hormone stays balanced. Because it's produced in your fat, it's one of the hormones that when you're losing fat, it's one of the hormones that changes first, okay? So here's how it works. Leptin is produced in your adipose, your fat tissue, and the amount of leptin circulating in your body is directly proportional to your body composition. So remember, we talked about body composition being your fat to muscle ratio. So the more fat you have, the more leptin you have circulating in your body. The less fat you have, the less leptin you have circulating in your body. So leptin stimulates receptors in your hypothalamus, and that's the part of your brain that regulates the hormone systems in your body. So the hypothalamus is in your brain, and that's regulating all the hormone stuff. And when leptin binds to these receptors in the hypothalamus in your brain, it stimulates a release of appetite suppressing chemicals, okay? So when leptin levels are high, you feel full, which is good. We want to feel full. We don't want to feel hungry. If leptin levels are low, you feel hungry, okay, which is what we don't want. The problem is that when you have high leptin levels over time, because remember, leptin is produced by your adipose tissue. When you have really high leptin levels over time, your body becomes less sensitive to them. So you can think of it like somebody blaring a song on the radio. So if you've come from someplace that's completely quiet, just turning up the volume a little bit, you're going to notice it, right? If you crank the volume all the way up and you sit there in the car with the volume like blasting, maybe you're listening to Paw Patrol, blasting, over time you're going to be less sensitive to that because it's just kind of been bombarding you. So that's the way that it works with your leptin hormone as well. You can actually become a little bit resistant if you've had hormonal imbalances from being a little bit overweight. So leptin's job is to signal your brain to let you know that you're full. And when leptin levels are high, your brain knows that it's full and it tells you to stop eating. But what happens when leptin is out of balance? So what happens when you've been listening to Paw Patrol blasting in the car for way too long and your ears are ringing and you're out of balance? You're not sensitive to it. Or what happens when you're dieting and you're losing fat, and so fat that produces the adipose tissue that produces the leptin is not producing as much as what it used to? You're going to be hungry, right? Hunger and cravings, or as I like to call when I have hunger and cravings, I'm hangry. So I talked about, it's interesting because leptin is produced in the fat tissue, and the higher percentage of fat you have, the more leptin you have. But like I said, it might seem like a good thing because leptin keeps you full, but the issue comes with the yo-yo dieting, and it comes with your body's sensitivity or lack thereof to this hormone leptin. So because it takes your body time for metabolic hormones to balance after changes in body fat levels, if you lose weight too quickly without keeping metabolic hormones balanced during the process, your leptin levels are going to decrease drastically, and it's going to cause hunger to increase significantly, and ultimately, like, you're not even going to be able to beat it. Like, you're going to be so hungry, it's going to be crazy, and likely, unfortunately, you're probably going to gain weight because of that. And that's what happens with the yo-yo effect. That's really what causes it. So low-calorie diets, without proper balance of these hormones, they're really not effective long-term. So here are 3 ways, just real quick, as we're wrapping up, that I like to balance leptin. The first is sleep, and we talked about that already. So sleep is the number 1 way to balance leptin. Leptin levels naturally rise while you're sleeping. So this is your body's way of staying asleep rather than waking with hunger. When you're sleeping, your body knows to limit hunger in order to let you rest. So leptin levels are going to rise naturally when you sleep. When you sleep, your body naturally adjusts by making you hungry again. So studies actually show that shorter sleep periods are directly related to lower daily leptin levels and an increase in appetite and an increase in cravings for usually higher carb and higher fat foods. So making sleep a priority when you can is optimal for healthy fitness and hormonal balance. In the nutrition section, we also talked about avoiding higher sugar foods or the crap. avoiding the, standard American diet. And that's another way to balance leptin. Sugar makes your brain less sensitive to leptin. So if you want to work on your leptin sensitivity and balance your hunger hormones, you want to focus on high protein, fiber-rich foods, protein and produce, and focus on those over sugar-filled foods and processed snacks. And then the third day, or the third thing that you can do naturally to raise your leptin levels is to stop crash dieting. So when you're losing weight too quickly, like I said, doing that yo-yo kind of thing with the crash diets without paying attention to balancing your hormones, it's a surefire way to cause leptin issues. It's going to increase your hunger and cravings, and it's ultimately going to cause a yo-yo of weight loss and regain. So that's why we talked about eating more food and eating less crap, eating regularly, using carb cycling, stopping the crash diets is really key. And even taking diet breaks. So we talked about the diet breaks and the refeed. Yeah, Jolene, right. So if you didn't get sleep, it's a hormonal thing. Like your hormones are causing you to crave those carbs all day. So how about this? Let's end on the refeeds, and then I'll show you a couple of places I want you to go in the members portal, and then we'll go from there, okay? So we got 5 minutes left. You'll see up on the screen what a refeed day is. Generally, it's a higher carb day, and it manipulates carbohydrate levels to boost leptin levels as a part of kind of what I consider an advanced fat loss strategy. So you can see the guidelines up on the screen. If anybody has questions about doing a refeed day, it is more advanced. Generally, a person who has a lower body fat percentage is going to need a refeed day more frequently than someone at a higher body fat percentage. This is something that I work with my customized nutrition ladies. So I'd be happy to help you with that. If you want to try it yourself, I have some guidelines that I can send you as well. Or I can show you where to find that in the members portal. And why we do it, again, the purpose is to boost the leptin levels. So you just really want to be focusing on hormonal health, and strategically scheduling these refeed days or carb cycling into your diet is going to boost the hormone levels and ensure that your metabolism stays in fat burning mode rather than fat storing mode. And then how to do it, again, you'll just want to make sure that you're scheduling your workout on a refeed day. So you want to be doing your weight training workout on a day that you are planning your refeed. An example of a refeed day for me, Natalie said, I like refeed days. Yeah. So anybody who does nutrition coaching with me, like you don't usually get a refeed day right away. But when you get it, you're like, oh, this is so fun. Kate told me I had to eat like a lot more carbs, and it's good. But here's an example. Like for me, I'll have breakfast. That would be like a protein shake and a really big bowl of oatmeal with some fruit. For lunch, I'll maybe I love to do like copycat Chipotle bowls at home. You guys know my obsession with Chipotle, right? So I'll do that at home with a ton of chicken and the salad, and I'll add rice or beans. And then maybe like some homemade tortilla chips or a low carb wrap or something like that. A snack would be like some hard boiled eggs, maybe a protein pumpkin cookie, and then dinner, some type of protein, maybe like grilled tuna on a salad with some pineapple or a sweet potato or something like that. So it's not junk. I know that was a question that came up. It's just a higher intake of carb-rich foods, complex carbs, and if it's done correctly and periodically, refeeds can be a powerful way to boost leptin levels and to increase your metabolism. But again, I don't want to end on something that's really complicated. It is a little overwhelming, so I want to show you in the members portal where you can get more information on really everything that we talked about. So let me see here. You guys know I'm tech challenged. So if you have any questions, now's a really great time to ask them while I'm trying to find how to show you this. Okay, I think it's this. So this is the library. So when you log in, and this is, I'm talking to all of our Beyond Fit Life members. If you're not a member yet, how about this? How about for listening to this call and sticking with us to the end, we let you join for $1. Okay, so you can't pass up this deal. You just join $1. Okay, use the code webinar special. You can go to beyondfitlife.com. And then when you use the code webinar special, let me even just show you. You'll go here. Oh, am I showing you? Oh, see, I told you I'm so tech challenged. Okay, let me show you again. Let me show you. Go to beyondfitlife.com and you can click here and then use the code. Please let this work. Oh, shoot, I've already purchased it because it's me. Okay, use the code webinar special when you go to beyondfitlife.com. I'm going to bring this up again so you will see. Use the code webinar special and you can join us for $1. When you join, so when you use the code webinar special and you join us for $1, then you will log in. You guys are so patient with me. Thank you. So when you log in, then you will see this. And this is your library. And you will click here to the Beyond Fit Life Club. And then you can type in any questions that you have or a topic that you're curious about. So for example, we talked about carb cycling and refeed days. So this gives you the plan for refeed days. We talked about the hormone leptin and how it's your fuel gauge hormone. And this gives you everything that I talked about in terms of what to do on a refeed day, why to do the refeed days, and how to do the refeed days. Okay, so there's that for more information. We also talked about carb cycling. And here's the general carb cycling info. And then over here, you'll see carb cycling guidelines. And you see when I click this, I can download it. So this is your carb cycling guidelines. When you click this, you'll get some carb cycling meal ideas. So this gives you some carb cycling meal ideas. When you click this, you'll get some carb cycling meal ideas for our vegetarians if you aren't a meat eater. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back and let me show you where we talk about hormones. So this is in the Start Here section, and you'll see 7 simple ways to balance your metabolic hormones. So tonight, we talked a little bit about cortisol, the stress hormone. We also talked about leptin, and that is your fuel gauge hormone. So that, remember, is produced by the adipose tissue. So you learned about 2 of the hormones that are on this page, but there are actually 7 that you should be paying attention to when you're balancing those metabolic hormones if you really, really want to do fitness better, okay? In addition, of course, if you have not downloaded your March workouts, you'll want to download those here. And then you'll also get a schedule, and that tells you what to do when. So have you done your Beyond Fit Blitz lunge jumps yet? They were on the schedule today. And tomorrow is Calorie Crush workout number 2. So you can see that whole schedule there. Let me just wrap up then by giving you a quick tour. We've got lots of training stuff and some bonus info there. Lots of yoga stuff. If you're into 5Ks and that, we have a training program that I put together for the runners in our group. And then lots of nutrition. So if you're interested in calculating macros and doing that on your own, you can run through this page. That will give you a good starting point. As well as, like I said, the carb cycling, what to do for hunger and cravings. We've got a restaurant guide. And then my favorite section, all of our recipes. And then a little bit more on hormones and, of course, some mindset stuff. some bonuses, and there you have it. So that's the group, and you'll find all of that again when you just go to your library, and that will be there for you in your library. So do you guys have any questions? I went a little bit over 4 minutes, so my apologies for that. If you have any questions, if there's anything that I didn't cover, that you're unsure about, that you want to learn more about, my goal is to help you in any way possible. So go to the members Facebook group, post any questions that you have. Do not hesitate to reach out, to take advantage of the amazing group that we have. I know that thanks, Jody. You rock. You rock way more than I do. I mean, really, I say this all the time, but I just really want you guys to know, like, you make Beyond Fit what it is. Like, our community and the amazing women that we have from all over the world in one place, it is so cool. And, you know, it's very rare, I think, these days to see women coming together who like support and encourage each other. I love to see, they're like, pray for me, please, or, you know, I need some support. I see women competing and comparing and, you know, bashing each other all the time. And Beyond Fit is one place I can go to always see women encouraging each other and building each other up. And so it's a blessing to me to get to kind of be your leader. I feel super inadequate, but I know that, you know, I'm in it with you. It's not the Kate show by any means. It's just me teaching you what I've learned and how to do fitness better. So if you have any questions, if there's anything that I missed, head on over to the members Facebook group, post those questions there. And I am going to go spend some time with my family, tuck my boys in, do prayers and bedtime stories, and then maybe I'll get some sleep tonight. But I'll be in the Facebook group first thing in the morning to answer questions and to do anything that I can for you. You guys can all thank Miss Cindy because she's Jackson's teacher. So when I'm in the Facebook group answering your questions, it's because he's at school and he is learning, and I have time to sit down at my computer to answer questions for you without my leg being pulled on. So I will answer all the questions that I missed. Just go ahead and post them in that group, and I'll be in there for you guys tomorrow. Okay, I love you all. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.